Here are today's 9 contestants preparing for the show. Only one of them will return home up to £10,000 richer. The other 8 players will leave with nothing. Why? Because one by one they'll be voted off as the weakest link.
Welcome to the weakest link. Any of the 9 people in the studio today could win up to £10,000. They don't know each other, however. If they want the prize money, they'll have to work as a team. But 8 of them will leave with nothing, as round by round we lose the player voted the weakest link. Let's meet the team.
My name is Beryl, I'm 49 and I'm a housewife from Birmingham.
I'm John from Liverpool, I'm 46 and a technical author.
My name is Peter, I'm a 46-year-old business analyst from Coventry.
I'm Vicky, I'm 31, a receptionist from Southampton.
I'm Simon, I'm 22 and I'm a radio producer in Newcastle.
I'm Hannah, I'm 23, I live in Bristol where I work for an Irish dance magazine.
I'm Mark, I'm 33, from Edinburgh, I work in packaging sales.
I'm Howard, I come from London, I'm 68 and I'm retired.
I'm Tim, I'm 34, I come from Wolverhampton and I work in music promotions.
Now the rules. In each round the aim is to answer enough questions correctly to reach your £1,000 target within the time limit. The fastest way is to create a chain of 9 correct answers. Get your question wrong and you break the chain and you lose all the money in that chain. But if you say bank before the question is asked, the money is safe. However, you start a new chain from scratch. Remember, at the end of the round, only money that has been banked can be taken forward. In the first round, you'll get 3 minutes. We'll start with the person whose name is first alphabetically. That's you, Beryl. Let's play the weakest link. The first question is for £20. Start the clock. Beryl, which soul diva had a #1 hit with Chain Reaction in 1985?
Diana Ross.
Correct. John, when did England last host the Football World Cup finals?
1966.
Correct. Peter.
Bank.
In art, what C means a portrait that is distorted for comic effect?
Caricature.
Correct. Vicky, what is the medical term for the stiffness that sets in after death?
Gone.
Rigor mortis. Simon. Steve Backley is a leading figure in which athletics event?
Javelin.
Correct. Hannah, which is the largest planet in our solar system?
Saturn.
Jupiter. Mark, in do, re, mi music scale, what note follows mi?
So,
Fa. Howard, in nature, is the weeping willow tree deciduous or evergreen?
Evergreen.
Deciduous. Tim,
Bank.
who was the Roman god of war?
Zeus.
Mars. Beryl, which 1996 blockbuster saw the White House being destroyed by huge flying saucers?
Armageddon.
Independence Day. John, in architecture, what B is the name given to a support projecting from the outside of a wall?
Buttress.
Correct. Peter, Nessun Dorma was the BBC's theme song for which 1990 sporting event?
The European 1995 European Cup finals.
The World Cup finals. Vicky,
Bank.
in science, is an electron a particle with a positive or negative electric charge?
Positive.
Negative. Simon, how many days are there in the first month of the Gregorian calendar?
28.
31. Hannah, what type of animal has a breed called skipjack?
Frog.
Tuna. Mark, what American national sport do the LA Lakers play?
basketball.
Correct. Howard, which weapon was invented by an armourer in Bayonne, France in 1647?
Musket.
The bayonet.
Well,
Tim, what is the Spanish for tomorrow, sometimes used to mean a vague
Mañana.
date? Correct. Beryl, which park in Wyoming, USA is famed for its hot springs and geysers?
Yellowstone Park.
National Park. Correct. John,
Bank.
if you have the condition of anemia, are you lacking red or white blood cells?
Red blood cells.
Correct. Peter, Which pop band released the single I Want to Hold Your Hand in 1963?
The Beatles.
Correct. Vicky.
Bank.
Which British physicist and mathematician formulated the law of gravitation?
No.
Sir Isaac Newton. Simon. What word is used to describe a fear of closed spaces?
Claustrophobia.
Correct. Hannah. Solitaire is the American name for which type of card game?
Patience.
Correct. Mark. Which British queen married Prince Albert in 1840?
Pass.
Time is up. The correct answer was Queen Victoria. Well, team, you won just £190 in that round out of a possible 1,000. Who is seriously hindering your progress? You cannot afford dead wood. One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Statistically, the strongest link is John, having answered all his questions correctly. He also banked money for the team. Vicky is the weakest link. She got all her answers wrong. But will the votes reflect these facts?
Pens down, voting over. Please reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Howard.
Vicky.
Vicky.
Howard.
Mark.
Vicky.
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 Hannah. Why Vicky?
She hesitated at the end and when we were getting really desperate, so...
She got 3 wrong. How do you think you did?
Not that much better, but I banked some at the end, so I think that was good.
Peter. Why Vicky?
Well, I think we're all nervous and it's difficult to judge, but Vicky seemed to be struggling a little bit there.
So, Vicky. 6 votes. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
The one question I should have got right was rigor mortis. I knew it began with R and it was on the end of my tongue, but just didn't get there. Howard should be the next person voted out. He's too hesitant and he didn't get any questions right.
Round 2. You could have had £1,000 by now. You achieved a hardly spectacular £190. 8 players left. We are now taking 10 seconds off the clock. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's John. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. John, what is the largest living land animal in the world?
African elephant.
The elephant, correct. Peter, which member of the pop band Oasis has a child with actress Patsy Kensit?
Noel Gallagher.
Liam Gallagher. Simon, which imperial measurement of 220 yards is often used in horse racing?
Furlong.
Correct. Hannah, which building in London's Docklands became Britain's tallest building in November 1990?
Cleopatra's Needle.
Canary Wharf Tower. Mark, what scientific name is given to animals that only eat meat?
Carnivores.
Correct. Howard, which North American Indian word means a conference?
Something jaw. Jaw.
Sorry?
Jaw.
Powwow.
Oh.
Tim, in what game would you find community chest and chance
Monopoly.
cards? Correct. Beryl, in Edward Lear's poem, who did the pussycat marry?
The owl.
Correct. John, who became leader of the Conservative Party in 1975?
Pass.
Margaret Thatcher. Peter, in the animal kingdom, what type of animal is a joey?
A baby kangaroo.
Correct. Simon, according to the Bible, what was the occupation of Joseph, father of Jesus?
He's a carpenter.
Correct. Hannah, which former Liberal Democratic leader served in the Royal Marines?
Paddy Ashton.
Correct. Mark, what word is used for the shortening of an animal's tail for cosmetic or other reasons?
Pass.
Docking. Howard, in mythology, what is the Holy Grail considered to be?
The urn which contained the ashes of Jesus.
It's the chalice used at Jesus' Last Supper.
Bank.
Tim, which pop group's hits include Tragedy, One for Sorrow and Better, Best Forgotten?
Steps.
Correct. Beryl, in the human body, what is the medical term for the voice box?
The larynx.
Correct. John.
Bank.
Which organisation was founded in British Columbia in 1971, originally to oppose American nuclear testing in Alaska?
C&D.
Greenpeace. Peter, what is the deepest adult male singing voice called?
Basso profundo.
Yes, bass. Simon.
Bank.
At the Sydney Olympic Games in 2000, will beach volleyball be an Olympic sport?
No.
Yes, it will. Hannah.
Bank.
David Bailey is best associated with which area of the arts?
Photography.
Correct.
Blank.
Mark, what does an ornithologist study?
Birds.
Correct. Howard, which former professional tennis player now presents A Question of Sport? Time is up. The answer is Sue Barker. OK, of the £1,000 available, you won £110. One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
The statistics make Howard the weakest link in this round, with no questions answered correctly. He also lost the team the most money. But will the other players recognise these faults and vote him off?
Pens down, voting over. It's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Howard.
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 Hannah.
Howard.
Tim, I don't know if this is complicated for you to grasp, but there's no point banking if there's no money to bank. Mark, why Howard?
Too long. Far too long.
You were quick, were you?
I was very quick.
John, why Howard?
He lost us precious time.
Howard, with 7 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I think probably the next person to go would be Hannah, purely and simply because of her age, and young people cannot, by definition, have the same breadth of general knowledge as older people like John or Mark. I was disappointed not to have got a bit further because I normally reckon that my general knowledge is possibly above average, but I was just unlucky with the questions and I would have liked to have done better.
Round 3. Now, you've won a total of £300 so far. That could have been 2,000. You're down to 7 players. We're taking another 10 seconds off the clock. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Beryl. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Beryl, what name is given to the collection of lakes which include Ontario and Superior?
The Great Lakes.
Correct. John, which title given to the Indian leader Gandhi means great soul?
Mahatma.
Correct. Peter, which environmental hazard is caused by the release of sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere?
Acid rain.
Correct. Simon.
Bank.
The Italian painter Canaletto is famous for his paintings of which city's canals?
Venice.
Correct. Hannah, which band created the soundtrack for the 1980 film Flash Gordon?
Queen.
Correct. Mark, which town in the Spey Valley is one of Scotland's major skiing centres, Aviemore or Braemar?
Aviemore.
Correct. Tim, mortadella is a type of what food?
Cheese.
No sausage. Beryl, which European country has had a queen as its head of state since 1890?
The Netherlands.
Correct. John, which classical composer wrote The Messiah?
Handel.
Correct. Peter, during which World War did the Battle of Jutland take place?
First World War.
Correct. Simon,
Bank.
under what name did Theodore Giesel write The Cat in the Hat?
Dr. Seuss.
Correct. Hannah, in which street would you find the TV character Elmo?
Sesame Street.
Correct. Mark.
Bank.
Which Middle Eastern country was formerly called Mesopotamia?
Iran.
Iraq. Tim. Bloodstone and aquamarine are birthstones for which month?
August.
March. Beryl. Who succeeded Graham Gooch as England's cricket captain in 1993 after the Ashes were lost?
David Gower.
Mike Atherton. John. In surgery, nitrous oxide is used as what?
Anaesthetic.
Correct. Peter. If you were at Haymarket train station, in which city would you be?
Edinburgh.
Correct. Simon.
Bank.
What Shakespearean actor directed a musical version of Love's Labour's Lost?
Kenneth Branagh.
Correct. Hannah. The town of Pontefract in Yorkshire is famous for the manufacture of which type of sweets?
Fudge.
Licorice. Mark. In a flower, are the carpals male or female?
Female.
Correct. Tim. If A is Alpha and Z is Zulu, what is D?
Delta.
Correct. Beryl. Which hormone was first isolated in 1921 by Canadian scientists Frederick Banting and Charles Best?
Insulin.
Time is up. That was the correct answer, but you didn't bank in time. And in that round, you won £350. Who is seriously letting you down? One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
This round's weakest link statistically is Tim, with just one question right. The strongest link is Simon, who managed to bank the most money and get all his answers correct. But how will the actual vote go?
OK, pens down, voting over. It's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Hannah.
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 Simon.
Beryl.
Hannah.
Beryl, not a cricket fan?
Well, to my shame, yes I am, very keen, and I could cut my tongue out. I don't know why I gave that answer.
Why Hannah?
I just feel that she's getting questions wrong that I think she should have got right.
Tim, why Hannah?
Slight hesitation on certain questions when time is going, and getting questions wrong, even though I got them some wrong myself.
She didn't do as bad as you, did she?
No,
Statistically, you were the weakest link.
I know.
Well, Tim, you were the worst player, without any doubt. But Hannah, with 5 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I feel that I was a bit robbed to be voted off as the weakest link at that stage. I thought I was actually getting better. But there you go, I got the one about licorice wrong, what can you do? I think the weakest link that round was actually Simon. Even though he got us the money, he banked before me twice when I got questions right, and I think he should have played as a team and trusted me a bit more.
Round 4, there's £650 in the team pot so far. That's out of potential prize money of £3,000. There are 6 of you left. We are taking another 10 seconds off the clock. You now have just 2.5 minutes. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Simon. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Simon, which character did Joanna Lumley play in the TV sitcom Absolutely Fabulous?
Patsy.
Correct. Mark, in music, long playing records are played at how many revolutions per minute?
45.
33 1/3. Tim, in 1926, which American became the first woman to swim the English Channel?
Something Earhart.
Gertrude Adeley. Beryl, launched in 1973, Skylab was the name of America's first what?
Satellite.
Space station. John, which class of steroids banned by most athletic organisations promotes the growth of
Anabolic.
tissue, especially muscle?
Anabolic.
Anabolic steroids. Peter, Mrs. Boyle is the murder victim in which long-running theatrical whodunit?
A mousetrap.
Correct. Simon, Which actor was Madonna's first husband?
Sean Penn.
Correct. Mark?
Blank.
Begun in the 7th century BC, what is one of the largest construction projects ever undertaken?
Pyramids.
The Great Wall of China. Tim? The chinchilla originates from which mountain range?
The Andes.
Correct. Beryl. Which author's debut novel was A Time to Kill?
Pass.
John Grisham's. John. Which period of early history follows the Stone Age?
Bronze Age.
Correct. Peter. In mythology, what A is the name for the food of the gods?
Ambrosia.
Correct. Simon. The river Wear flows for most of its length through which county?
Durham.
Correct. Mark.
Blank.
Which jazz singer was known for his hit singles Hello Dolly and What a Wonderful World?
Louis Armstrong.
Correct. Tim. What dance is best associated with Vienna?
The waltz.
Correct. Beryl. The Romans used to call which country Caledonia?
Scotland.
Correct. John.
Bank.
Name the current Australian Prime Minister.
No idea.
John Howard. Peter. Comb, clover and English are varieties of which food substance?
Honey.
Correct.
Bank.
Simon.
Bank.
What name is given to the full moon that occurs closest to the autumnal equinox?
Pass.
Harvest moon. Mark.
Blank.
From which card game did Bridge evolve?
Pass.
Whist. Tim. Is a troubadour a poet or a musician?
Musician.
A poet. Beryl. The adjective optic. We are out of time. I cannot complete that question. And in that round, you banked £320. Who's clearly the worst player? Who can't you wait to get rid of? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
Peter emerges as the strongest link in this round for getting all his answers correct. The weakest link is now Mark, as he got the most questions wrong and lost the team money. However, it's the votes that count. Let's see what they decide.
Hands down, voting over. Please reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Tim.
Peter.
Beryl.
Tim.
Tim.
John.
Beryl. Why Tim?
Well, it's got to be somebody, and although not from particularly this round, but from past performance, I just think that he had to go.
Right. Because particularly this round, he got more right than you did, didn't he?
Yes, but in other rounds he didn't.
Simon. Why Tim?
Because he was the weakest link in the last round and it didn't seem to be much to choose between everyone this time.
Right. Mark.
Yes.
Why Tim?
Why not?
Actually, statistically, you were the worst player in the last round.
Yeah.
Well, it's the votes that matter. Tim, with 3 votes, you are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I think the question about the channel swimmer was very difficult. I've done a lot of swimming and I still do, and I thought it was just trivial. Never ever heard of the question, never heard of the person. In my opinion, the person who should be voted off next is John. I voted for him the last round, and I think he will be the weakest link this round, and I think he'll let the rest of the team down and sort of jeopardise the amount of money that the winner could finally get.
Round 5, your total so far is £970. If you'd hit your target, it would be £4,000. 5 of you left. Another 10 seconds is coming off the time. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Peter. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Peter, how many grandchildren does the Queen Mother have?
6.
Correct. Simon, which British actress is married to film star Jude Law?
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Sadie Frost. Mark, gibbons are native to which continent?
Sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Gibbons are native to
Africa.
which? Asia. Beryl, what currency do they use in Sweden?
The krona.
Correct. John, Who had her own dog training television program in the 1980s?
Barbara Woodhouse.
Correct. Peter, which of the planets of the solar system has most natural satellites?
Saturn.
Correct. Simon.
Bank.
With which sport are Ian Woosnam and Colin Montgomery associated?
Golf.
Correct. Mark, in which West Country city can you walk down Armada Way and Mayflower Street?
Taunton.
Plymouth. Beryl, a symbol of Judaism, what is a menorah?
It's a candelabra.
It's a candlestick. We'll accept candelabra. John, who was the father of TV broadcasters David and Jonathan Dimbleby?
Richard Dimbleby.
Correct. Peter, what word is both a make of gun and a double-sized bottle of wine?
A Magnum.
Correct. Simon,
Bank.
which English comedian starred opposite Bo Derek in the 1979 film 10?
Dudley Moore.
Correct. Mark, what is the Cockney rhyming slang term butcher's hook referring to?
Look.
Having a look. We'll accept look. Beryl, in the animal kingdom, what are sidewinders and bushmasters?
Snakes.
Correct. John, which of the Queen's children lives at Sunninghill Park in Ascot?
Princess Anne.
Prince Andrew. Peter, what is the literal translation of haute couture?
High dress.
High fashion. Simon, which famous singer was Mia Farrow married to before Woody Allen?
Pass.
Frank Sinatra. Mark, on what mode of transport would you find a Plimsoll line?
Tram.
A ship or a boat? Beryl, which political leader wrote his thoughts in a little red book?
Mao.
Correct. Time is up. In that round, you banked only £300. One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
The statistics indicate that Beryl is the new strongest link, having answered all her questions correctly. For the second time, the weakest link is Mark, who continues to get most of his answers wrong. Can he survive another round?
Pens down. Voting over. Please reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Mark.
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 Peter.
Not a lot of disagreement there. Simon, why Mark?
Just a generally poor performance in the last round.
Peter, why Mark?
I think Mark was hesitant, and although he banked quite a lot of money, he wasn't getting on with the questions.
Mark with 4 votes. The rest of the team have had enough of you. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Well, obviously I wouldn't like to be standing here just now because there's 4 other people still taking part in the competition and in the quiz. I'd prefer those 4 to have come before me so I could run away with the money. I think the next round, the person voted off possibly will be Peter. I think he is the most hesitant out of the 4 people that are left.
Round 6, you've won £1,270 so far. Of course, you could have won by now £5,000. 4 of you left. We are cutting another 10 seconds from your time. We start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Beryl. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Beryl. The Crucible Theatre is the home to the World Championship of which sport?
Snooker.
Correct. John. The opera Madame Butterfly is set in which country?
Japan.
Correct. Peter. What skin disease did the singing detective have in the TV drama of the same name?
Psoriasis.
Correct. Simon.
Bank.
The novelist George Orwell wrote about the road to which pier?
Pass.
Wigan. Beryl. In the animal kingdom, a squab is the young of which bird?
Pass.
Pigeon. John. What currency does the Russian Federation use?
Kopeck.
Ruble. Peter. What is the largest bone in the human body?
The femur.
Correct. Simon. In which year did the Cuban Missile Crisis occur?
1957.
1962. Beryl. Which Wild West outlaw was shot and killed by Sheriff Pat Garrett on the 14th of July, 1881?
Billy the Kid.
Correct. John. Who wrote the series of Palliser novels?
Trollope.
Correct. Peter. Opal is one of the birthstones for which month?
June.
October. Simon. What colour was the twopenny stamp issued on the same day as the penny black in 1840?
Red.
Blue. Beryl. On what kind of tree do dates grow?
Palm.
Correct. John. What is the name given to a salad consisting of apple, walnuts and celery?
Waldorf.
Correct. Peter.
Bank.
Complete the title of this Dire Straits song, Sultans of...
Swing.
Correct. Simon. Tintagel Castle is in which British county?
Cornwall.
Correct. Beryl. In which British comic does Roger the Dodger appear?
Beano.
Correct. John.
Bank.
In fashion, what is tulle a generic type of?
Silk.
Fabric. Peter. The tourist attraction Cavern Walks and the Albert Dock are in which city?
Liverpool.
Correct. Simon. Dorothea Brooke is the heroine of which George Eliot novel?
Middlemarch.
Correct. Beryl. Who was assassinated at Ford's Theatre, Washington, D.C. in 1865?
Abraham Lincoln.
Correct. John. We are out of time. In that round, you banked £350. One of you is about to leave with nothing. It's time to vote off the weakest link.
For the third time in the game, Beryl is the strongest link, having answered 5 questions correctly. Simon got most of his answers wrong, making him the weakest link. But will these statistics be reflected in the votes?
Hands down. Voting over. Please reveal who you think is the weakest link.
Simon.
Beryl.
John.
Peter.
Well, we have a tie. Beryl, John, Peter and Simon. A vote each. John? Why Beryl?
Those failures to bank at the end of a round. It's happened a couple of times now.
Peter? Why John?
John's done pretty well overall, but he seems to be losing confidence a little bit, losing concentration, such anything.
Right. Simon? Why Peter?
He stumbled a few times there, so I wasn't so sure of him anymore.
And Beryl? Why Simon?
Well, though he has been good overall, he had a bad round, and it had to be somebody that had to go.
OK, well, when the vote is tied, the strongest link has to cast the deciding vote. Beryl, who would you like to get rid of? John, Peter or Simon?
Simon.
Beryl, one shot of you, Simon. You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
I think I banked very well. I think that there's 1 or 2 people who were very slow to answer their questions, very slow to bank, and they've got away with it so far, but it'll catch up with them later on, I hope. Depending on how much we got, I would like to have paid off most of my student debts and perhaps paid off a bit of my car, and if there was any left, well, I think I'd have had a few beers.
Round 7, team, you have £1,620 out of a possible £6,000 you could have won by now. 3 of you left, another 10 seconds off the clock. We start with the strongest link from the last round, that's Beryl. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Beryl, Osborne House was built for Queen Victoria on which British island?
The Isle of Wight.
Correct. John. Kerkyra is the Greek name for which Greek island?
Corfu.
Correct. Peter, what type of gun was invented by the American Richard Gatling?
Machine gun.
Correct. Beryl, what is the capital of the Russian Federation?
Moscow.
Correct. John.
Bank.
In money, what does the Y stand for in the acronym PAYE?
U.
Correct. Peter. In TV, whose recent TV series on the oddities of American life was called American Pie?
Clive James.
Ruby Wax. Beryl. The fish was an early symbol for which religion?
Christianity.
Correct. John. Historically, Traitor's Gate was used as an entrance to which building?
The Old Bailey.
The Tower of London. Peter, in maths, what is 12 times 8?
96.
Correct. Beryl. What is the name of the pop group formed in 1967 by Peter Green and Mick Fleetwood?
Fleetwood Mac.
Correct. John. In US politics, which Wisconsin senator became synonymous with the communist witch hunt of the 1950s?
McCarthy.
Correct. Peter.
Bank.
Black Bess was the horse belonging to which legendary highwayman?
Dick Turpin.
Correct. Beryl. According to the Bible, which sea did Moses part to allow the Israelites through?
The Red Sea.
Correct. John. Which TV comedian, together with the pop band The Wonder Stuff, had a #1 hit with the song Dizzy?
Keith Allen.
Vic Reeves. Peter. What nationality was the artist Pablo Picasso?
Spanish.
Correct. Beryl. In a standard Trivial Pursuit game, what colour represents an art and literature question?
Blue.
Brown. John. Which 1930s child actress starred in the films Poor Little Rich Girl and Dimples?
Shirley Temple.
Correct. Peter.
Bank.
What is the first name of the opera tenor Pavarotti? Time is up. And in that round, you managed to bank a total of £340. Now, in round 8, you get the chance to treble what you bank, and that means in the next round, there's £3,000 to be won. The question is, who is most likely to lose you money and let you down? It's time to vote off the weakest link.
At this late stage, Beryl is in pole position once more as the strongest link. John is now the weakest link as he lost £150 for the team. Could he still sneak into the final? Let's see those votes.
Hands down, voting over. Please reveal who you think is the weakest link.
John.
Peter.
John.
Peter, why John?
John missed a couple in that round. Sort of hesitation, I think.
You missed one, didn't you?
I did indeed, but I got 2 or 3 others right.
Beryl, why John?
Well, he missed an easy question and he did not do the very thing for which he criticised me. He didn't bank when he should have done.
John, why Peter?
Well, Beryl's performance has been good throughout, solid. And I wouldn't vote for myself.
Right. Well, with 2 votes, John, the team have voted you the weakest link. Goodbye.
So I feel totally dejected, and I thought I made a good start and I was going well, and then suddenly it all sort of crumbled away. I feel really bad and I'm upset about letting people at home down, you know. Got to go back in and face them tomorrow, so really bad. I think Beryl will go on to win the final. I don't think it's Peter, I don't think he's got it. He hasn't got what it takes, he was a bit flaky throughout.
Round 8. You've won £1,960 so far out of a possible £7,000. Beryl and Peter, just the 2 of you left. This time you have only 90 seconds. But whatever you win in this round will be trebled and added to your total to make up your final prize money. £3,000 is at stake in this round. We'll start with the strongest link from the last round. That's Beryl. Let's play the weakest link. Start the clock. Beryl, the West End musical Buddy is based on the life of whom?
Buddy Holly.
Correct. Peter, who wrote the novel Alice Through the Looking Glass?
Lewis Carroll.
Correct. Beryl, in sport, which West Indian batsman's score of 501 in 1994 was the highest ever in first-class cricket?
Brian Lara.
Correct. Peter,
Bank.
in which country was the environmental group Greenpeace founded?
Canada.
Correct. Beryl, which supermodel took a tumble on a Paris catwalk in 1993 while wearing platform shoes?
Naomi Campbell.
Correct. Peter, which is taller, Egypt's Great Pyramid or England's St Paul's Cathedral?
St Paul's Cathedral.
Egypt's Great Pyramid. Beryl, which whale has the largest brain, the sperm whale, blue whale or killer whale?
Blue whale.
Sperm whale. Peter, in history, what year was the storming of the Bastille in Paris?
1746.
1789. Beryl. Is the story of Jason and the Argonauts part of Greek or Roman mythology?
Greek.
Correct. Peter.
Bank.
Addis Ababa is the capital of which African country?
Ethiopia.
Correct. Beryl. In the pop charts, who returned to #1 this year with the song Spinning Around?
Pass.
Kylie Minogue. Peter. What plant is it customary to kiss under at Christmas time?
Mistletoe.
Correct. Beryl. Which song from the film Paint Your Wagon was a #1 hit for Lee Marvin in 1970?
I Was Born Under a Wandering Star.
Correct. Time up. Now, between you in that round, you won £120. We'll treble that and add it to the winnings from the previous rounds. That means prize money today of £2,320. But only one of you can take that money away. You'll now play against each other head-to-head. I'll ask alternate questions. Best of 5. Whoever answers the most correctly wins. It is as simple as that. If there's a tie after 5, we'll go for sudden death until we have a winner. So, Beryl and Peter, for £2,320, let's play the weakest link. Beryl, as the strongest link in the last round, you have the choice of who goes first.
I will go first.
Beryl, which biblical characters are known as the Magi?
3 kings.
Correct. Peter, who in 1985 became the first non-seeded player to win the men's singles title at Wimbledon?
Kafelnikov.
Boris Becker. Beryl, the Queen's sons all went to which Scottish school?
Gordonstoun.
Correct. Peter, what is the name of the highest court in the United States?
The Supreme Court.
Correct. Beryl, in cycling, what do the initials BMX stand for?
British motocross.
Bicycle motocross. Peter, in the TV cartoon, whose arch enemy was Officer Dibble?
Bosscat.
I'll accept Bosscat, Top Cat or Bosscat. Beryl, immortalised in the name of a pop group, who invented the seed drill?
Jethro Tull.
Correct. Peter, the London Coliseum is the home of which opera company?
The D'Oyly Carte.
The English National Opera. Beryl, if you answer this question correctly, you have won £2,320. What nationality was the artist Edvard Munch famous for his painting The Scream?
Norwegian.
Correct. That means, Beryl, you are today's strongest link and you go away with £2,320. Peter, you leave with nothing. Join us again for the weakest link. Goodbye.
I was pleased to get as far as I did, frankly. Got quite a lot of questions right. I got some wrong that I shouldn't have got, but it's a little bit disappointing with the money, but I came with nothing, left with nothing. I've enjoyed it.
Feels a great relief. It's been a very long day, and I really didn't think I was going to get there in the end, but I have, and I'm pleased.